You've tried flea sprays, medicated shampoos, and expensive supplements. Yet your dog is still scratching. That's because the real problem isn't on the skin, it's inside your dog's body. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which food to use, when to use it, and why it works. But first, let's uncover the real reason your dog never fully heals. Here is the part every vet visit skips. Your dog's gut controls 70% of their immune response. Not the skin, the gut, which means every hot spot, every rash, every 3 a.m. scratching session, it started in their stomach, not on their body. Cheap kibble is packed with corn, wheat, and starch. Inside your dog's body, that starch becomes sugar. Sugar feeds yeast. Yeast explodes, punches through the gut wall, and your dog's immune system goes into full panic mode, attacking grass, dust, fabric, their own skin. That is not an allergy. That is a gut infection in disguise. And that corn chip smell on their paws? That is not dirt. That is yeast that has already reached the surface. This is why the shampoo never lasts. You were treating the smoke. The fire was always burning underneath. These 12 ingredients put it out, starting tonight. Number 1, apple cider vinegar. Most people use this wrong. They spray it on the fur, wait for results, and get nothing. Because ACV does not work from the outside, it works from the inside, and what it does internally is something no flea collar on earth can replicate. Half a teaspoon for small dogs. 1 full teaspoon for dogs over 40 pounds. Stirred into their water or drizzled over food once a day. A CV slightly acidifies your dog's entire system. Their blood, their skin, their sweat. Yeast cannot survive in an acidic environment. It starves and collapses. And when a flea or tick bites your dog, they taste that acidic blood, their nervous system fires a toxic signal, and they drop off immediately and do not come back. You are not spraying bugs away. You are making your dog taste like poison to every parasite within range. One warning, never use ACV undiluted, always mixed in water or food. And if your dog has open broken skin anywhere, skip this and go straight to food 2. The coconut oil. If your dog has already chewed through the skin, raw, red, weeping hot spots, this is where you start, before anything else, before any internal fix. 1 small scoop of organic cold-pressed coconut oil, pressed gently directly onto the raw spot. Coconut oil contains lauric acid, a compound so effective at killing surface bacteria that pharmaceutical companies use its derivatives in wound care. On contact, it does 3 things at once. It cools the inflammation immediately. It seals the skin against incoming bacteria. And it begins killing the existing infection underneath, without stinging, without burning, without your dog flinching away. If they lick it off, completely fine. It is food. It is actually good for them internally too. But hear this clearly. Coconut oil is damage control. It stops the bleeding and buys relief. If you use only this and nothing else, that hot spot is back in 10 days. Because the real engine driving that infection is still running deep inside the gut. And food 3 is the only thing that shuts it down. Plain, unsweetened Kefir. This is the one that actually fixes the root cause. And most dog owners have never heard of it. 1 tablespoon, added to their bowl daily. Kefir is not yogurt. Do not confuse them. Yogurt contains 2 to 3 probiotic strains. Kefir contains up to 61 active strains. Strains that survive the stomach acid and actually reach the gut lining where the damage is. When they arrive, they begin recolonizing the healthy bacteria that months of cheap kibble have been systematically destroying. The immune system stops overreacting. The yeast loses its food supply. The skin inflammation begins unwinding from the inside. Viewers have reported visible coat changes within 2 weeks of starting this, not months, weeks. Now, a warning that is not optional. Before buying any yogurt or kefir, flip the container and scan every single ingredient for 1 word, xylitol, sometimes hidden as birch sugar. It triggers acute liver failure in dogs. Even a tiny amount, plain, unsweetened, 0 artificial sweeteners, non-negotiable, but fixing the gut is only half the battle. Because while Kefir is repairing the inside, there are still 95% of the fleas you cannot see yet. And food 4 is the only thing that touches them, the pumpkin seeds. Here is something the flea collar companies absolutely do not want you to know. The flea you can see on your dog right now, that is 5% of the total infestation. The other 95% are not on your dog at all. Eggs buried in your carpet fibers. Larvae developing inside your couch cushions. Pupae waiting inside your dog's bedding in a protective casing that no spray can penetrate. Hatching on a biological timer regardless of what you put on your dog's fur. You can bathe your dog every single day this week. That 95% does not care. 1 teaspoon of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, ground fine in a coffee grinder, sprinkled over their food daily. Pumpkin seeds contain cucurbitin, an amino acid that paralyzes parasites inside the digestive tract. As your dog naturally sheds skin cells into their environment, those cells create conditions where flea larvae physically cannot develop and survive. You are not just treating your dog, you are treating every surface your dog has ever touched. But killing the cycle is one thing. Stopping new bugs from landing in the first place, that is food 5, and it works in a way that will genuinely surprise you. Sardines. Every 21 days, your dog's body completely replaces its outer layer of skin. Every single cell. Which means every 3 weeks you have a full reset, a chance to build skin that is thicker, stronger, and nearly impossible for parasites to penetrate. But skin cells are built from fat. And if your dog is eating dry kibble from a bag that has been sitting open for 2 weeks, those fats have oxidized. They are rancid and gone. The skin being constructed right now inside your dog's body is thin, dry, and fragile. 1 sardine, canned in water, 0 added salt, mashed into their food twice a week. The omega-3 concentration in a single sardine is higher than most $30 fish oil bottles on the market. Within 3 weeks, the coat change is visible. Within 21 days, 1 complete skin cycle, you are looking at a fundamentally different skin barrier. Harder to crack, harder to infect, harder for anything to bite through. And while sardines rebuild the armor from the inside, food 6 handles the nights when the itch has already taken over the entire body and you need relief right now. Colloidal oatmeal. This one is for the nights when the itch is everywhere. Not one spot, everywhere. Full body redness, flaking, inflammation from rolling in grass, or touching something their system rejected completely. 1 cup of plain, unsweetened breakfast oats, blended into a fine powder in a food processor, mixed into a lukewarm bath until the water turns milky. Now, the detail most people get wrong. The water must be lukewarm to cool. Never warm, never hot. Hot water pulls blood to the skin surface and makes inflammation dramatically worse within minutes. Let your dog soak for 10 full minutes. Oatmeal binds to the skin and creates a protective film that physically draws heat and inflammation out of the tissue. When they step out, pat dry gently, never rub. You will have a calm, still dog within the hour. No $40 medicated shampoo. 1 ingredient from your pantry shelf. But oatmeal only handles what is already on the surface. The inflammation being manufactured inside the cells, that requires something that works at a completely different level. That is food 7. Turmeric, just the tip of a teaspoon, mixed with a small amount of coconut oil, stirred into their food. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most researched natural anti-inflammatory compounds that exists. It does not reduce redness by masking it. It works at the cellular level, interrupting the inflammatory signals that are telling your dog's immune system to keep attacking itself. The coconut oil is not optional, and this is important. Curcumin is fat-soluble. Without fat, it passes straight through the digestive tract and absorbs nothing. The two must always go together or you are wasting the ingredient entirely. And as a bonus, turmeric subtly shifts the chemical profile of your dog's blood. To a biting insect, that shift reads as unpleasant and wrong. You are getting an internal anti-inflammatory and a passive bug deterrent from a single pinch of something that costs almost nothing. Now, what if the scratching is not inflammation at all? What if it is something happening in the brain, not the body? Food. 8 answers that, and most owners never even think to look here. Frozen raw carrot. Sometimes the itch is not inflammation at all, and this is the part most people never consider. Sometimes the scratching has become a compulsive loop, a habit, an anxiety response, a boredom behavior that the brain has locked into. The skin is not the problem anymore, the brain is. And you cannot fix a brain loop by treating skin. One large raw carrot, frozen solid, given the moment the scratching starts. Chewing triggers a flood of endorphins in a dog's brain, natural calming chemicals that interrupt the anxiety loop directly. A frozen carrot forces sustained, focused chewing. The brain gets flooded with those calming signals. The itch loop breaks. And simultaneously, your dog gets a meaningful dose of vitamin A, which supports healthy skin cell production from the inside. Free, already in your refrigerator. Works within minutes. No side effects. The carrot handles the brain. But the skin itself needs daily structural repair from the inside. Collagen, rebuilt cell by cell. That is exactly what Food 9 delivers every single day. Homemade bone broth, plain chicken or beef bones, submerged in water, slow cooked for 12 hours minimum. Zero seasoning, zero onions, zero garlic. Both are toxic to dogs and non-negotiable to leave out. A splash of that broth poured over their kibble every single day delivers collagen directly, the structural protein that builds thick, hydrated, elastic skin, the kind of skin that does not crack, the kind that does not inflame at the first sign of pollen, the kind that makes your dog genuinely uncomfortable for any parasite trying to bite through it. Do not buy pre-made bone broth from the grocery store soup aisle. It is loaded with seasoning and onion derivatives that will make your dog sick. Make it at home. It takes 5 minutes of actual effort, and a slow cooker does the rest overnight. 30 days of this daily, and the coat and skin difference is not something you will have to look closely to notice. But what happens when the skin is already broken and infected and collagen alone is not enough to seal it? Food 10 works on the surface in a way that nothing else on this list does. Raw honey, not the honey from the grocery store squeeze bottle. Raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized honey. There is a difference. And for your dog's skin, that difference is everything. Raw honey contains hydrogen peroxide, antifungal enzymes, and a compound called methylglyoxal that pharmaceutical-grade wound dressings are now being modeled after. When applied in a thin layer over an irritated, inflamed patch of skin, it creates a moisture-locked seal that suffocates surface bacteria, draws out infection, and actively accelerates tissue repair underneath. For dogs with chronic skin fold irritation, recurring hot spots, or skin that keeps breaking down in the same spot, this is the missing piece, a pea-sized amount, applied directly, once daily until the skin closes. One warning, raw honey is safe for adult dogs in tiny amounts, but never give it to puppies under 1 year. Their digestive systems cannot process certain bacterial spores that pasteurization removes. Small adults only, and only a scrape, not a spoonful. Honey seals the surface. But what about full body inflammation that hits all at once, the kind where every inch of your dog is red and screaming? Food 11 is built exactly for that moment. The chamomile tea brew. It's strong. Let it cool completely. Pour it directly over itchy skin. Chamomile contains 2 compounds of NMR, apigenin and alpha-bisabolol, that work as natural antihistamines on direct skin contact. When your dog is in the middle of a full-body itch episode and you need relief in the next 5 minutes, a cooled chamomile tea rinse poured over their coat and left to air dry is one of the fastest-acting topical interventions that exists without a prescription. It does not sting. It does not burn. It does not require rinsing off. And unlike medicated sprays, it does not strip the natural oils from the skin that were already working as a protective barrier. Brew 2 bags in 2 cups of hot water. Wait until completely cool. Date, never apply warm. Part the fur and pour slowly over the most inflamed areas. Let it dry naturally. You will see the dog visibly relax within minutes. Chamomile handles the surface emergency. But none of this works long-term if the protein-building blocks for skin repair are missing at the cellular level. That is exactly what Food 12 fixes, and it is already sitting in your refrigerator right now. The plain cooked eggs. 1 egg, cooked plain. No butter, no oil, no seasoning. Scrambled, boiled, poached. Method does not matter. Given 3 to 4 times per week. Eggs contain every essential amino acid a dog's body needs to repair damaged tissue, including the skin tissue that itching, scratching, and parasite bites have been breaking down. They are one of the highest bioavailability protein sources that exists, meaning your dog's body absorbs and uses almost all of it rather than passing a percentage unused. But the part most owners miss is the yolk. The egg yolk contains biotin, a B vitamin that is directly responsible for healthy skin cell turnover and coat quality. Dogs with chronic itching and dull, flaky coats are almost always biotin deficient, and no amount of topical treatment fixes a biotin deficiency. One critical rule: always cooked, never raw whites. Raw egg whites contain avidin, a protein that actively blocks biotin absorption and makes the deficiency worse. Cook the egg completely, and you eliminate the problem entirely. But here is what nobody tells you about fleas. You killed the fleas today. You saw them drop. You felt relief. By next week, they are back. Same number, maybe more. Here's why. The fleas on your dog right now are 5% of the total infestation. The other 95% are not on your dog at all. Eggs buried inside your carpet, larvae developing inside your couch cushions, pupae sitting in your dog's bedding, inside a protective casing that no spray on earth can penetrate, hatching on a biological timer, completely unbothered by anything you put on your dog's fur. You can bathe your dog every single day this week. That 95% does not care. This is why the flea collar stops working. This is why the topical drop fails after 3 weeks. They treat the visible minority while the invisible majority keeps rebuilding in your furniture. The only way to actually win is to make your dog's body hostile to the entire life cycle, from the inside out, and you already have everything you need. The skin being built inside your dog right now is failing. Here is why. Every 21 days, your dog grows an entirely new outer layer of skin, not repaired, not patched, replaced, cell by cell, from scratch. That means right now, inside your dog's body, new skin is under construction. And here is the question that matters. What is it being built from? Skin cells are made of fat, specifically omega-3 fatty acids. If your dog is eating dry kibble from a bag that has been sitting open on your floor for 2 weeks, those fats have already oxidized and gone rancid. They are biologically useless. The skin being assembled right now has no quality raw material to work with. The result is thin, dry, cracked skin that inflames at the first contact with grass. Skin that yeast colonizes easily because the barrier is already compromised. Skin that a flea can bite through without resistance. You have a 21-day window to completely change this. Every single cycle is a full reset, a chance to build skin so thick and healthy that parasites find it genuinely difficult to penetrate. 1 sardine twice a week, 1 splash of homemade bone broth daily, 1 cooked egg when sardines are not available. These are not supplements. They are construction materials. And the skin your dog grows in the next 3 weeks will be fundamentally different from the skin they are wearing right now. Here is exactly what you do tonight, nothing more. Do not open 12 ingredients tonight. That is not a health plan. That is a guaranteed stomach upset and a very unpleasant morning for both of you. This is the only rule you need. Every day when you pour their food, pull out a small scoop to make room. Then add exactly 3 things: 1 skin builder, a mashed sardine, a cooked egg, a splash of homemade bone broth. Pick one and rotate. 1 gut helper, a tablespoon of plain unsweetened kefir, a teaspoon of ACV diluted in water. Alternate through the week. 1 emergency fix, a pinch of turmeric mixed with coconut oil, a pea-sized scoop of raw honey on any irritated spot. 1 frozen carrot when the scratching spikes. That is the entire system. 3 additions. 10 seconds. Every single day. Stay consistent for 21 days, 1 complete skin replacement cycle, and you will watch something shift. The scratching gets quieter. The paws stop getting chewed. The coat starts looking different, thicker, shinier, healthier, in a way that is not subtle. and ticks that land on your dog will leave, not because of a chemical you applied, because your dog's body became an environment that parasites want nothing to do with. 1 teaspoon was always the answer. It was already in your kitchen. It just needed to go in the right bowl. Drop a comment before you go. Tell me right now, is your dog losing the fight against the itch? Or are fleas the main battle you are dealing with? Because those are 2 different starting points. And I want to make sure you begin with the right ingredient tonight. If this opened your eyes to something your vet never mentioned, hit that like button. Not for the algorithm. Because somewhere, another dog owner is lying awake at 3 a.m. listening to that scratching. And this video needs to find them.